High School Football Game Day, brought to you by HSBNSports.com. We are here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, bringing you live all night long high school sports from the bottom of the map. Yes, South Florida, the top athletes, the top teams in the nation. We got a lot of great sports coming your way. My name is Ryan Stout, alongside Chris Jenkins. We welcome you back to this football season. It's been a long wait. Coming out from spring into the 7v7 football season, we are back live and in color. Once again, we're here at Pembroke Pines. The matchup tonight is Flanagan Falcons take on the Eagles of Douglas High School. Tonight's broadcast is only brought to you by Stealth Rating. That is www.stealthrating.com. You can also follow them on Twitter at StealthRanking. PlayingTheRecruitingGame.com. That is www.playingtherecruitinggame.com. You can also follow them on Twitter at RecruitingGame. Tonight's graphics. This production wouldn't be what it is without the flair. We have Bleacher Graphics. That also comes from Bleacher.com, which is also one of our streaming partners tonight. You can find Bleacher at www.bleacher.com and also follow them on Twitter at Bleacher. That is BLEECHR. And last but never least, the foundation that keeps this thing afloat, the Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation. You can find more information about what they do and how they are empowering the student athletes on the field tonight. That's www.kdafoundation.org. You can also follow them on Twitter at KDA Productions. And this is live and in color. Once again, Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins. Chris, it's been a while. Last time we were on the air was the 7v7 out in Coral Springs, Florida, Mullins Park, something that's familiar to both of us. Been out there plenty of time. Had a great 7v7 competition with the Elite 7v7 NFA, National Football Association. Had some great athletes come out there. Douglas was actually out there. They had a chance to compete. Went pretty far in the rounds, but anyways, Chris, glad to have you back on the mic. How's it going?
It is going great, my friend. We've been looking forward to this. We get the kickoff classic started tonight with Douglas versus Flanagan. We're in beautiful Pembroke Pines. Hopefully we can hold off this lightning. Hopefully we won't have a delay. We'll cross our fingers with that. Of course, we've got tropical storms brewing.
Yes, we do.
In a few days, so should be a good matchup tonight. You got two good teams, one team that's got close to the promised land, the other team hoping to get there. Flanagan, of course, coming off a 14-1 season. They got to the state semifinals before losing to Columbus. Of course, this is Class 8A, so you got the best of the best, so to speak, as far as the top athletes. And we'll get into the impact players and talk about them before we get this thing going. But you look at Douglas on the other side, they're coming off a 7-3 season under Coach Mays. Have not been to the playoffs since 2001. So they're looking to right the ship and turn things around. A lot of good athletes, a lot of flying around. Of course, there'll be some jitters with it being the first game. So I'm thinking turnovers will probably be key. We'll have to watch that. One team's looking to control the tempo, that being Douglas. They want to keep all these athletes from Flanagan off the field. And then Flanagan, of course, are looking to right the ship and continue what they started last year, although they have a lot of replacements that they have to worry about. We'll get into that and talk about that as we go along as well.
Constantly rebuilding. Had an opportunity to be with Flanagan for, this is our third year. Had a chance to come down here this week, also Douglas, but went and talked to some of the impact players. Like you said, get right into them. Impact players for tonight's game on the Flanagan side of the field. We have Michigan commit Devin Gill, number 9 at free safety. Also, another familiar name, Devin Bush, number 11. He's going to be starting linebacker on the defensive side of the ball tonight. We have Stanford Samuels, 2017, number 1 ranked, I believe, in the nation. And he's going to start quarterback tonight. Not his primary position, but Flanagan had a situation with the quarterback. Cato, I believe, is coming off surgery.
Yes.
Knee surgery. Did you get a chance?
Injury. I believe he get his team together and have some kind of camaraderie and tempo with this multiple formation Flanagan team.
Well, there's no doubt he has the confidence. He has the confidence to do it. He's an all-around natural athlete. We got a chance to talk about him with Larry Bluestein the other night on the radio show, and had nothing but good things to say about Stanford. We don't want to forget our scholar athlete for Flanagan High School is Javari Bourdois, number 28. He's going to be a defensive back tonight, scholar athlete tonight. And we don't want to forget on the Douglas side of the football, we got impact player number 74 on the offensive line, Corey Gaynor. Number 75, O-line, Joe Durante. Number 24, running back, Lance Moyes. And our scholar athlete tonight for the Douglas side is Josh Paulson at outside linebacker. He's wearing the number 16 tonight. Got some great athletes out here today. And also, we don't want to forget, as you saw before, Stealth Rating. Courtesy to Stealth Rating, they have provided us with some outstanding statistics tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't tuned in yet, Stealth Rating is the #1 objective rating system in the entire nation. And I'm proud to say that we've partnered up with them this year. They're coming in, collecting all that data for us. And #1, the focus, character first. These athletes, these student athletes are rated based on their character, academics, and then their athletic ability. And that athletic ability breaks down into work performance and game readiness. So as you can see, we got our top 3 out of just this game. So if you go on stealthrating.com, you're going to go to the tab that says the Stealth Top 20. And you're going to check out some athletes that are rated. Now, you're not going to see any 5-star athletes that we're going to get quiet real quick. We have the color guard coming out. We're going to say the national anthem, so stay tuned with us, and we'll come right back with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps and cover as we present our national anthem. Thank you.
Let's play ball. Let's get back here. HSBNSports.com. We're glad that you joined us tonight, and we are glad to be here. Once again, want to always give a great shout out to our streaming partners. Our broadcast wouldn't reach the audience it reaches without these guys. And we're going to start off once again with Bleacher.com. That is www.bleacher.com, providing also all of our graphics tonight. Streaming partner, we welcome Bleachers audience. Thank you for joining us. Florida High School Football, that is FloridaHSFootball.com. We thank our Northern Connection, bringing us a tremendous amount of traffic and a great audience. We're glad you support, and we're glad that you're tuned in with us tonight. Florida Gridiron Preps, that is FloridaGridironPreps.com. Down here representing South Florida, representing the whole state of Florida, keeping you updated with what's going on here with sports, and we thank you for bringing all your audience this way. And last but never least, we have a new streaming partner. Yes, I said it, Princess Cooper, from this, I would say the South, but we're really the bottom of the map. Up there in the southern states, bringing Never Had It So Good sports radio. The radio show that we're featured on, Glenn Stout playing the recruiting game, is featured on every single Wednesday. You can tune in. She's going all week. She's got gospel music. She's got all types of stuff. Sports radio. Tune in. Never Had It So Good sportsradio.com. We thank her for joining the team here for HSBN Sports. And we got the coin toss.
Taking the field tonight for the coin toss, Flanagan Falcons.
Should be a good matchup. It'd be a really good test for Douglas, facing a Flanagan team, as I alluded to earlier, Ryan. It's got a lot of question marks. They lost all their receiving core from last year. Of course, lost their four-year starter quarterback. We highlighted and spoke to the fact that Samuels is going to have to step in. His natural position is on the defensive side, a defensive back. But he's such a good athlete that the third-year coach, Devin Bush, wants to put him there and roll the dice, and I'm sure he will adjust just fine. Flanagan heavy favorites in this game, you would think, but we'll see if Douglas can control the tempo, which according to Coach Mays is going to be one of the main keys. You got to control the tempo and stay organized. Limit the big plays by this Flanagan squad. They've got plenty of athletes that have stepped in, but not a whole lot of flow and camaraderie that they've been able to build up. So we'll see how all of that plays out over the course of this.
Well, we had a chance to check Douglas out for preseason. They had a tandem going up in Coral Springs, actually Parkland. Douglas took on Coral Springs Charter their preseason kickoff game. Also Keys Gate, unfortunately, came out with an L against Keys Gate earlier on in the half. They only played halves. I think the biggest concern in that game was obviously it's preseason, so they're working out the kinks. But I'm concerned about the defensive backs. I'm concerned about the secondary in terms of the speed and just the athletic ability. Douglas has got great front on the defensive side and the offensive side. You talk about a beef package, you won't see too much like it here unless you're going down to Miami-Dade. But yes, Flanagan, they have a tremendous amount of value in terms of athletes that are competing on the field today, and I think they got enough confidence regardless of Cato's out of the game or not.
And it looks like Douglas is going to kick off. Flanagan will receive. Just about to get it going here on HSPN, streaming live wherever you may be listening or watching or both. We thank you for doing so as we're about to kick off the 2015 campaign here in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Yes, sir. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of where you're tuned in from, make sure that you get involved. There's plenty of information out there coming from all of our streaming partners as well as HSPN. It's Friday night in South Florida. There's going to be scores coming your way, and it's a lot more than scores. These guys are bringing you information, statistics that you're looking forward to see out of these athletes. So it's going to be a great night. We hope you enjoy the broadcast. We're bringing it to you live from Pembroke Pines. This is HSPN.
Back deep for Flanagan. You got your guy and Alexander. And preparing to kick off is Jared Hollander for Douglas. Little pooch kick to start things off. And Douglas not taking any chances going deep, but Flanagan's still coming out the gate, so they're going to have even better field position almost at the 50 to get this one going. Call it 1st and 10 at the 45 for Flanagan. Just underway, 11:52 on the clock here in the first.
And the Falcons take over just shy of midfield.
Flanagan runs multiple formations. They're coming out. A 4 wide receiver set and a shotgun formation for Samuels. Put it up in the air, little dump off, and immediately
Number 7
rolling across the 30-yard line.
brought down by a shirt tackle, fingertip
Number
grab,
7 on the
because he
catch,
walked to the races.
Pearson.
Number 7, Jokar
Almost took it to
Pearson.
the house on the first play of the game. Just a little swing pass, Ryan, and he scooted up quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Right. Yeah, they got that speed out there on the outside, and if you don't maintain these guys, it could be very dangerous.
Got a 25-yard pickup, 1st and 10 for Samuels. Empty set. It completes the pass on the far side. Popped out of bounds right at the sticks. That'll probably be enough to pick up another first. Gain of about 12. Unofficially. We'll see where they mark it.
And I believe Samuels actually played quarterback in Little League, so this is not completely foreign to him.
So he has been back before.
I believe
and
so.
thrown a pass. I got you.
This isn't new to him. So outside of his great athletic ability, I think he's got a pretty good spin on the ball. We'll see tonight.
Okay, so they're going to mark it a gain of about 5. He must have got knocked out before the sticks, so it'd be 2nd and 5 situation coming up. 1 back set. They're going to put it on the ground for the first time. And getting close to the sticks that time.
Outside to the right, picking up positive yards on
Darius
the play.
Alexander on the carry.
Just shy of the first down marker.
He's going to pick up probably about 4, bring up a 3rd and short situation coming up.
Well, it's always positive. The first drive isn't 4 and out.
Yes.
Making good moves. It's a positive thing. I'm interested to see what quarterback comes out for Douglas this evening. We got 2 young quarterbacks. We got a sophomore that started during the preseason game, and we have also a junior. We'll get those names to you. They came out as well. But we'll see who's going to come out.
And a penalty against Flanagan. That'll push it back 5. So it's actually going to bring up a 3rd and long for Samuels. In the shotgun once again. They'll put it up. He's being flushed. Near side. Tries to get it up. Good defense by Douglas. And that is one of their main strengths, Ryan. Defensive and offensive line up front.
Yeah.
They have that to hang their hat on.
They got beef. They got some good size. And better yet, they're young. We had a chance to go hang out with them. We've been collecting that data from Stealth and got a lot of young guys.
45 juniors returning to this team to speak to what you're talking about. All those guys were sophomores last year, so a lot of playing time and a lot of depth that they work with. So I thought we had a 4th down situation. It says 3rd down now, so 3rd and long, 3rd and about 12. And they pick up the big yards on the completion that time. Clavon Thomas on the reception pulls it in. So they put Flanagan in a hole. Flanagan finds a way to keep the sticks moving, keeps the drive alive, and now they're knocking on the door inside the 15, 1st and 10 coming up.
Well, you can't give him that much time in the pocket.
Absolutely not.
You cannot, especially with his speed. He'll have no doubt in his mind at some point tonight he's going to take off.
Yeah. Nice defensive stand the play before, but give up the yardage, and Flanagan is still alive. Go with the pitch sweep, trying to cut inside. There is a flag on the play. He gets in. This one will not hold up on the carry.
Well, they called it a touchdown, but like you
Jacor Pearson.
Like you said, we got some yellow laundry on the ground.
An illegal block, so that's going to negate what would have been about a 16-yard touchdown play.
I love seeing the good old toss. See some big boys coming around the end. Just got some size. especially those defensive backs. I'm sure they get real excited. 200 plus linemen coming downhill at them. You know, go for the knees, right?
Well, and Pearson took his time on top of that, found a way, weave through the defense, but all for none. Legal block, will bring it back. And that will spot it at about the 25. So they'll start it over to go with another pitch sweep. Defense by Douglas. Powers in there. And laying the pop in.
That's a number 52. Ooh.
Raymond Menendez coming in on the pop. Good defensive pressure. And we'll be talking about the defensive line and that up front all night.
Great close.
Yes,
great
closing
speed. It didn't hesitate. It didn't get juked out.
No. Stood his ground. Great tackle.
Well, this is, I'm not going to lie, it's a pretty good drive so far. Outside of the penalties, it's a pretty decent drive for the offense. They're getting real good warm-up here.
Approaching a 9-minute mark, so Flanagan's had it. We're going on 4 minutes now, this drive.
And I think they're going to call a timeout. Oh, no. Is it a timeout? What's a penalty?
A delay of game.
Delay of game.
I want to say against Flanagan, so that's backing them up even further.
Yeah, it is a delay of game.
So Douglas holding. See if they can keep him out of the end zone. It's going to bring up a second down, and Flanagan's looking at about 25 to pick up the first. Spot the ball right at the 30-yard line. Second down and forever coming up for the Falcons. Samuels looking, fires one over and completes it. It won't be enough for the first, but they're knocking on the door once again, folks, just inside the 10.
And that's another reception. Gosh, Ja'Cour Pearson put in some numbers the first quarter of the game.
And these fellas are picking right back up where they left off last year. We said that they lost their entire receiving core. Pearson helping to fill that void, looking pretty good so far. So we got a third down and about 5 coming up. So Falcons. Samuels hands off and a misdirection. He's going to break a tackle, gets in for the 6. Touchdown Eagles. And that was number 25, Darius Alexander. You see a strong dose of him tonight. He gets in for the 6. And we got our first score. 8:12 on the clock. Extra point pending. Angelo Trujillo with the extra point. Snap is back. Up, through, and good. So 8:12 on the clock here. First quarter action. Eagles 0. Falcons strike first with 7. And now we'll see what Douglas can do if they can tie this one up. So Flanagan coming out, chewing up a lot of clock, Ryan. They hurt themselves a few times, but still in the end managed to punch one in.
Once again, you're watching high school game day, Friday night, under the lights with Flanagan Falcons and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Eagles. We got a high-flying competition here in Pembroke Pines. The weather finally cleared up. We don't have the sun in our face like we usually do. Unfortunately, Flanagan, their stadium, whoever engineered this press box wasn't the smartest, but shout out to them. Shout out to the Clouds.
Yeah, nice
but
cloud
yes,
cover. Yeah.
Great drive. Outside of the penalties, they went back and forth a couple times. The Falcons finally put some points on the board. That's going to leave us with 8:12 on the clock. Coming in to this first quarter of play.
So Lance Moises and Jaquan Bailey Brown back deep for Stoneman Douglas.
And the ball carries all in the end zone for a touchback.
And this one's going to go through the back of the end zone. We got some scrapping going on in the middle of the field. And we got a flag. So someone's going to be penalized prior to Douglas's first possession.
A little tension.
Yeah.
It was interesting before we got here, or before we set up, had a chance sitting up here in the stands watching the JV practice. And it was at the end of the practice, and they circled it up and let the guys go at it. They got a little one-on-one action. Those guys, you talk about helmets flying off. I mean, JV now. But you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is a big-time school.
Yes.
A lot of kids, 8A, so Flanagan, Douglas, these schools are massive. We're talking about potentially 3,000 kids at these schools. So JV football isn't your typical, float by, float your boat type stuff.
Yeah.
These guys can compete. They're trying to get on this level right here, the varsity level. So, especially when you got guys like Devin Bush, you got guys like Devin Gill, they're trying to compete.
So unsportsmanlike, we'll back the ball up to the 20. And we got a fumble.
I like the action. I don't know if you saw, but I did. Number 4, defensive back, throwing number 12, receiver on the bottom of the screen. Throwing him on the ground, man. I love to see that. A little getting nasty.
Scrapping, yeah.
Yeah, he's nasty. Ladies and gentlemen, watch number 4. See if we can wide up that shot.
A no gain on the first play, not a good way to come out. If you are the Eagles, they're going to go to pitch sweep. And gobbled up is Bailey Brown. First carry of the play. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage, but that Flanagan D came in there quick and fast.
Number 23 of the Falcons, Justin Tellis.
Well, it looks like we got the young sophomore quarterback, number 1. Number 1 is Tyler Goodman III. And he's got a great story. I'll tell you about it in a minute, but fantastic story.
So we still got about a 2nd and 11 situation. No positive yards. Goodman gets this one off, floats it up, and easy pickings for Flanagan. Got some room, sideline, shifted, still moving, finally popped out of bounds, and Flanagan in business once again. Already up 7-0. First turnover of the ball game for the Eagles.
And that was my concern. We had a chance to watch their preseason, and there wasn't too much action in the air for these quarterbacks. This quarterback's a young sophomore. He's got great potential. He's a great athlete overall, but didn't get too much airtime. So that was my concern coming into this game is, are they going to run it? Or are they going to throw it?
Yeah.
Are they going to do a little bit of both? So we know their run game is pretty good with number 24 Lance back there, but I don't know.
Coach May said that they wanted it to be 60-40 run coming into this one. They need to control the tempo, and they put it up. Goodman does under great pressure, and they turn it over. Flanagan back the other way, 1st and 10, shaking defender, still rolling.
Ja'Cour Pearson.
Woo! And is knocked down just short of the 15. Some nice moves.
To Ja'Cour Pearson kind of night.
Yes. It's looking like it.
Ja'Cour might just made the impact list this week on top of some other outstanding athletes, but Ja'Cour Pearson once again putting some more stats on his record.
So that was a gain of about 15, we'll call it. As we come up on the 6-minute mark, 7-0 to count. Flanagan trying to take advantage of the first turnover of the contest. And breaking tackles and shaking defenders and finally getting in for the touchdown. Flanagan, number 2, Stanford Samuels.
It could be dangerous.
And they run that read option. He kept it.
Yeah.
Drew all the defenders to.
I thought he faked the camera guy out.
Absolutely.
I thought he had the running back.
Looked like Pearson might have had it for a moment. Before you know it, Samuels is in the end zone. And there's that running aspect that you talked about
Yep.
a few minutes ago.
He's athletic. I'm telling you, number one, and I'm quoting Larry Bluestein now, but number one in the 2017 class.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal. And they're going to give it to him. That's going to put 14 points on the board for the Falcons here in Pembroke Pines, Florida against Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. If you just tuned in with us, we are barely into the first quarter. 6 minutes left on the clock. This is high school football game day, brought to you by HSPNSports.com. We're glad you joined us from all walks of life, from all our streaming partners. Give a big shout out to those guys. We got a big matchup, and Ja'Cory Pearson looks like the highlight player so far. Had a great drive coming out. First drive coming out. Went back and forth, but finally put some points on the board. Douglas gets the ball, doesn't translate, throws a bomb.
Yes.
Tyler drops back, just gets torn up,
Yeah.
and just kind of lays it up there.
Under major duress. They're going to have to probably keep it on the ground like they spoke to, try and see what they can get out of that, but they're already off to a bad start. According to Coach May, said that they wanted to try and limit the big plays of Flanagan. Haven't been able to do that so far, and they're in a 14-point hole.
I think it's important they use that beef up front.
Yes.
Had a chance to be in the weight room with those guys. They got great size, young
Yes.
size. One of our impact players, Corey Gaynor, big boy,
Yes.
got the beef package. Put it behind those guys. Lance, make a couple moves, but pound it.
Gaynor as well as Durante.
Right, Durante as well.
Two of the impact players and really good players playing into the strength for Douglas, and will be another touchback. Moist doesn't have a chance to bring it out, and the Eagles, they'll have an opportunity to right the ship. Second possession of the contest, 1st and 10 from their own 20.
And number 1, number 24 in the backfield, Tyler Goodman and Lance Moyes setting up in the backfield. Looks like Tyler's going to get up under center, and hopefully we see some movement up front.
Little offside eye formation. Got
And they're going to put it on the
man in
ground.
motion. And somehow managing to get out of that. He's got some real estate. Can he get through the pursuit coming from Flanagan and saved the touchdown?
Wow.
Nice run with number 24, Lance Moyes. The senior running back made something out of nothing. Big time pressure by that Flanagan defensive front. Broke through.
Yes, sir. Impact player tonight. Making some impact plays. I love to see it. Thought he was going up the middle.
About a 35-yard run on the carry. Moises. And that'll bring up a fresh set of downs. Man in motion. Two wide to the far and near. Offset eye formation. Moises gets the carry. Pops one. And we'll give him about 3 on the carry. A host of Falcons in on the stop. So we got about a 2nd and 7 situation coming up for Douglas. 14-0 the count, coming up on the 5-minute mark here in the first quarter play here in the Kickoff Classic. Flanagan taking on Stoneman Douglas. So that running game starting to pay dividends a little bit for the Eagles. We'll see if they can continue to capitalize, keep the drive alive. 2nd possession of the game. Under duress, floats this one up.
That's
and
dangerous.
Could have picked off another one, Ryan. He is
Dangerous.
just not getting enough time to set up. He just threw that one up. Once again.
They're trying to move him out of the pocket, but he's still got speed coming
Yeah.
off the edge. So, I mean, I can understand you move him outside of the pocket, but okay, we got a penalty.
And we'll see who this one is against.
Yeah, we're trying to move him outside of the pocket, get some flow going, you know, get some movement in the defensive secondary, and see if you can find someone open. But you can't you can't keep floating the ball.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to plant your feet there to get something off, but he's not even able to see where to throw it. As we wait to see what we got here.
We have a offense, illegal participation, illegal man downfield.
We got an illegal procedure.
Down, brings up third down and a long 7 to the Eagles offense.
So that's going to be a loss of down for the Eagles, which they definitely don't need, as they're trying to keep some kind of momentum going.
Falcon fans, clap their hands up in the stands.
So a loss of down, but instead of a 2nd and 7, it'll be a 3rd and a big 7 coming up. 3 wides to the far, 1 back set, Goodman under center. Now Morse is in motion. And he's trying to set up the screen pass, but pop, snuffed out, still keeps his feet. Nice defense on the initial stop that time. I believe that was number 8, Rocco Mariucci, but still able to keep his feet and still plowing ahead that time.
I'm telling you, these guys are flying in. Great catch and great run by number 33.
And Daniel Crescatelli.
Those guys are coming in fast. I want to say at the end of the play, if you got to see it, Devin Gill coming in fast and hard. And these guys,
freight train.
Yeah, these guys are trying to hurt some people.
And Douglas is going to go for it here on 4th down. We got about a 4th down in about 5 situation. Flanagan wants to talk about it, and that's our first time out of the contest. 14, nothing to count, 3:57 on the clock.
We're going to head back to our stealth rating. Once again, didn't have a chance to finish. Our stealth top 20, we got some athletes that are out here tonight, unverified stealth ratings. But as you can see, once again, stealth rating based on their character, academics, work performance, and game readiness. In that order, these athletes had a chance to come down here this week, and these are our top 3. Got some high flyers. Now, if you're looking at it, you're saying, well, Ryan, 3-star athlete, that doesn't mean much to me. Well, it shouldn't, because we're used to 4- and 5-star athletes based on their pub. Yeah. Based on their athletic ability. We got some guys watching film and saying, hey, that guy can move around. That's not what this is about. So, top 3, as you can see, Devin Gill up top, Joe Durante, and also Devin Bush on that list tonight. With our stealth top 20. When you get a chance, head over to stealthrating.com and see the full top 20 for yourself.
4th down situation. Big set of downs coming up, and had the receiver and overthrew him that time was Goodman.
That was
wide open with a tight end.
You know, quarterback
to
quarterback. I can understand, 1-step drop, you're trying to power it in there with a slant route, but I mean, if it was, all off balance.
Yeah.
But it could be a result of guys getting blown up on the line. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the judge. We'll let you guys be the judge.
So that's going to be a turnover on downs, but a big opportunity missed that time by Douglas to keep the drive alive. Flanagan will get the ball back. Good field position. Going to start off just short of the 40. We'll call it the 39. 1st down and 10. Already up 14-0. 3:53 on the clock. First quarter play. Samuels back deep, empty backfield, rolling. Far side. And
looks like
was a gimme.
Looks like it bounced off his foot.
Yeah. Douglas was there, but he was right at the sticks. And missed that one. Incomplete on the pass. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Looks like it bounced off his foot.
Yeah. He had it, though.
He had it?
He brings it in. That's moving the sticks.
I'm distracted by the little boy in the stands staring at me. Best thing about high school football, you're right in the action.
Right in the heart.
Literally right in the action. We're probably 20 feet from our audience.
So 2nd and 10 situation. You go with the little bubble screen. And outrunning defenders on the sidelines. Truck it. Just short of the 20.
Well, like I said early on, speed. The defensive backs.
And once again, Pearson, the culprit, coming up big.
See, there's a time, place where you got to work on those angles.
Yes,
You had to work on those angles. We've seen a couple times great closing speed on some of these defenders, making some great plays. But outside of that, you can't let those guys get by like that. Pearson looked like he was in the 100-yard dash.
Yeah.
I mean, just moving.
And I guess they're going to say he was knocked out prior to where he was. I thought he got knocked out at the 20 or 30. Actually, 19-yard game, we'll call it. And the ball's just spotted just short of the 40 of Douglas. And they're going to go on the ground, spinning through defenders. Number 25 that time. That was Darius Alexander.
Very shifty.
Oh, absolutely.
I like it. Very shifty.
Let's call it 2nd and 3 for the Falcons.
See, it's okay to make a couple moves. But if you're running back and forth and you're not getting upfield, that's where my issue comes in to play. Guys want to see, just pound that thing. Get some yards.
He got just enough to get him close to another set of downs. The 2nd and short. They're going to complete another pass. Good wrap up. But he's
going to hold
right
on
at the sticks and still on his feet, keeping it going. Finally gets upfield and finally popped out of bounds. So Douglas initially got the stop.
Wow. That's going to get a first down, and it should get a first down with the effort that young man just put in.
Absolutely, yes. Well, that'll be enough, as we said, to move the sticks. And on the reception that time, it was Derek Snelson pulling that one in and putting in major effort. Just spoke to Ryan, so that'll be another 1st and 10 situation coming up, all spotted at the 25. One back set, Samuels. Fires one across the middle. And that was still easy pickings once again.
And that's number 3.
In and out of the hands
Cleveland
of
Thomas. Cleveland Thomas right through his hands. You got to catch that.
Absolutely.
It touches your hands, you got to catch it.
He had that one. Douglas trying to hold on, but Flanagan on the move once more.
Well, we thought we were going to get some bad weather, but no delays, thank God.
Yes. Looking good so far. Now if they just cool down about 10 more degrees,
exactly.
We'll be feeling good. Samuels under center. Tries to complete the bubble screen and almost picked off right there defensively. Jamal Polycarp.
Right off his chest.
Yes.
Come on, baby. You got to bring those in, especially Pearson.
Oh,
You've been putting in
absolutely.
some work. And once again, there's 2 minutes left in the first quarter. We got a 14-0 score. The Falcons of Flanagan High School are up.
And Douglas hadn't done much to stop Flanagan on this series. This has been Flanagan hurting themselves with drop passes, etc. on this drive. So we've got a 3rd down, and we'll call it 8 situation coming up. Samuels, once again in the shotgun, pressured a little bit, steps up, completes it, and right at the sticks, and powering forward. We're going to say that was Clevon Thomas, I believe, on the reception.
Well, Flanagan ranked number 3 in the state by some of the top dogs, Larry Bluestein, JT Wilcox. You can check it out on the website, right on the homepage. We got the preseason top 10 lineup for you. I believe Flanagan's 3 for Larry, JT, and also FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com got the top 25. We featured the top 10. Flanagan sits at number 3, and be completely honest, after talking to some of the guys on Douglas, they say rankings don't matter.
Of course not. Of course not. That's what you have to believe if you want to have any chance to win. But Douglas, nonetheless, is in a 14-point hole, and they come up big defensively. Host the Eagles in and on the stop.
It's a great way to swarm. Got to be careful. You know,
One of the big men, Nick Weber.
These guys, it comes to a point where, they're not making tackles, they're not wrapping up, but it could also be very dangerous.
Yes.
You can see Pearson getting wrapped up in something like that, and 3-4 guys trying to bring him down, and there goes a knee.
Very
there
true.
goes something. So
very true. Yeah.
My recommendation is get down.
Yeah.
Give all you got, but protect yourself.
So under a minute, actually approaching 30 seconds left here in this first quarter play. Can Douglas hold? Flanagan on a second down play over the middle, incomplete.
A bit over the top. Ball falls incomplete. And they have a penalty on the play.
And there is a flag on the play, so we'll see if this is going to back Flanagan up. Douglas trying to hold defensively, getting some pressure on Samuels.
Yep.
And I believe that pass was attempted for
number 13, Isaiah Collins, right through his hands almost. He's a little short. He doesn't have the size, so I guess, from quarterback to quarterback, we have to take the blame.
Legal motion.
Kind of reminds me of those Booker T guys we covered not too long ago. They had a wide receiving core, probably, if not the top in the nation, but they were probably the shortest guys. I wouldn't say all of them now, but there's about 2-3 of them. Were studs. Went to the next level, but didn't have the size. Very entertaining, though.
Oh, I can imagine. So a second down, 15 situation, the pass complete.
And they go right back to
just
him.
short of the goal line. But Flanagan is ready to punch another one in on the completion. I believe that was number 12, Tyler Goetz.
No, it was 13. They went right back to him.
Okay, check that.
They went right back to him.
Collins comes up with another one.
Stanford makes up for it. Great job, quarterback.
And with that play, we put to rest.
Okay, and first quarter action is in the books now. At the end of that play, as we go into the second, with Flanagan knocking on the door inside of the 5 with a 3rd and short coming up.
And a shout out to our streaming partners tonight, Bleacher.com. You can find them at www.bleacher.com. FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. That's FloridaHSFootball.com. Florida Gridiron Preps. You can find them at FloridaGridironPreps.com. And our newest member to the team, Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. We're on the show every week, Glenn Stout, talking about high school football recruiting on Wednesdays night with Princess Cooper and the gang, Emerson Martin, Nick Emerson, Andre White. Some big-time guys. Gotta love them, though. Great entertainment, great sports talk. You got to tune in. Never Had It So Good SportsRadio.com. And those are our streaming partners for tonight. We thank them. And once again, if you're not tuned in with us, you're missing out on top high school football in the nation. We got potentially number 3 in the state, Flanagan High School Falcons, here in Pembroke Pines, taking on Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and they're putting up a fight. Coming into the second quarter, we got 14-0 start of the second. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, if Douglas can hold on this series, it will be huge for their confidence in getting back in this game. Only one turnover that Flanagan's been able to capitalize on, but Goodman has not had time to set up. They have been able to get what little success they've had on the running game. We'll see if they can keep that alive. Second quarter action on the way. They go to the bubble screen. They're going to punch it in. Yes, they do. Touchdown, Flanagan.
That's going to put some more points on the board for Flanagan. They've had a lot of positives tonight, and it's definitely a reflection of their program. Coach Devin Bush Sr. has potentially brought this team from the pit. Flanagan not even really on the radar a couple years ago. Remember these guys being freshmen, these Devin Bush, Devin Gill. Remember these guys being freshmen at some of the 7-on-7 tournaments in Coral Springs. Had to talk to them. I said, man, you guys used to look like me, 170 pounds. Now they're 200 plus, and they're monsters, man, and they're making big things happen on the field.
As we said, a team that went 14-1, got to the state semifinals last year. Lost to Columbus. As the extra point is through and good, we got a 21-0 contest. with 11:54 remaining here in the second quarter of play. And third-year coach Devin Bush making it happen with this team and trying to capitalize and continuing off of what they did last year.
And this broadcast is responsible for a lot of student athletes getting exposure tonight, but ultimately it is provided by the following: StealthRating.com, PlayingTheRecruitingGame.com, a little flash, a little pizzazz, Bleacher Graphics bringing you all the flash tonight, the graphics, and never forget the Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation making all of this possible tonight. The KDA Foundation. You can find more information about them at kdafoundation.org. Yes, big matchup. Positives. Douglas. They were in Flanagan territory at one point, and that goes to Lance Moyes with a 35-yard run, I believe it was.
Couldn't convert once they had a fourth and short situation. Swung the momentum. Flanagan able to take advantage of it, and we got a 21-0 count. It'll be a touchback. Douglas will have an opportunity to start a fresh set of downs, see if they can get something going from their own 20 coming out.
And leadership needs to stand out right here.
Absolutely.
21, you're down by 21 in the second quarter. You don't want to let it get out of hand. You have a young quarterback that stepped up to the plate. And like I said before, it's got a great story. You can see he's wearing tights on his legs tonight. Tyler Goodman, he actually suffers from a blood clot in his leg. So this young man has to inject himself, I believe, every single day with blood thinners.
Wow.
So this young man has got a big heart. He's got great potential. He's young, and you can see it.
Yeah.
But what a learning experience he's about to get.
Yeah.
Playing one of the top teams in the nation.
He is being battle-tested without question.
There's no doubt in my mind they'll have a great season after this. If they come out the way they do.
Well, with the experience they've got coming back, we said 45 juniors, 13 seniors, a lot of seasoning on this team, so we'll see if they can capitalize and get back in this game. Come out, 1st and 10 play, and just flung out of bounds like a little flea at time. Devin Bush stepping up on the defensive stop on the carry that time. Daquan Bailey Brown.
It's nasty. That is nasty. That's just brute strength.
Yes.
Manhandling people.
And a 10-yard penalty actually moved them up closer. Actually, a 15-yard penalty against Flanagan before that series started. So we still have a no gain on the play. It's still a 2nd and 10 situation for Goodman and Douglas. I formation, man in motion. Wise to the far near. You keep it on the ground once again. Might have had something, but good stop that time. Good run by Brown.
Oh, we got a penalty on the play.
And we got a flag, so this one might be moved up further. We're going to have some extracurriculars going on.
I was just going to say, a little smack talk.
And then Charles Williams on the stop that time defensively for Flanagan.
I'll tell you something Flanagan's known for if you've never experienced the Dirty Bird experience. Intensity.
Yeah.
Coach Bush playing at both levels of the game, at championship levels, comes out of Highland Miami Lakes, goes to FSU, got the ring, 93, championship ring, and then I believe, I know he went to the Browns, but he's been to the Super Bowl, so he's got the Super Bowl ring as well.
Gotcha.
So when you meet Devin Bush, off the field, smiles, great guy. On the field, intensity. So it's definitely a reflection. The young men, they feed off his intensity. He's always excited. He just loves the game, and it's a reflection when the athletes go out there and play.
But probably the 2nd or 3rd unsportsmanlike against Flanagan, and that's going to continue to move the ball forward as they got another one prior to this play.
And the same goes to Douglas. Had a chance to go hang out with May for a couple weeks there. Actually, one of our partner schools this year with HSPN. We're going to be covering a lot of their games this year. But Coach May, he's a different animal. He's got a great relationships with the student athletes off the field, but once he gets on the field, not to say he's a mean person, but he's just
flips the switch.
He's a great coach. Nothing but great things said by well-known Larry Bluestein. Talk very highly of him, and I have nothing bad to say about him. I've seen all positives come from Coach May.
So the quarterback carry by Goodman picks up about 4. So we got about a 2nd down and 6 situation coming up, and stuffed. Take your pick. Falcons coming up in there, just putting a stops on another attempted run. So we got a 3rd down and about 6. As that was a no gain on that play.
I'm pretty sure every single run play, Devin Bush and Devin Gill, if they're not in the mix, they went over it.
They're clear, close to it, around the ball.
They're flying over the pile. They're in the backfield at least 4 or 5 yards every single time.
So a big 3rd down and long situation for the Eagles inside of Flanagan territory. They're going to keep it on the ground. Goodman doesn't have time to set up. Eagles shut down and snacking that time.
Get rid of that ball.
Gordon.
Get rid of that ball.
Yeah. He didn't have quite enough time to set up. It definitely had enough time to get that one off. You're right, Ryan. You got to do something. So another unsportsmanlike, wow, against Flanagan, and that might give.
See, that's when it becomes an issue.
Yes, you have to temper that. You have to be able to control that. And yes, we got another unsportsmanlike against Flanagan. You have to be disciplined, Ryan. That's where that lack of discipline early on is coming into play. I believe this is the 4th unsportsmanlike against Flanagan. We just spoke to that a minute ago. So a penalty like that will keep the Eagles alive.
Right. There's a fine line when it becomes out of hand.
Yes.
And it's just, you got to take care of it.
So Flanagan up 21-0. Approaching the 8-minute mark, 2nd quarter play. Stoneman Douglas trying to get something going, just kept their hopes alive on an unsportsmanlike, and that, I believe, puts them the deepest that they've been into Falcon territory since this one started. 1st and 10 situation, or keep it on the ground. A host of Falcons in there swallowing him up. Leading the charge, number 14, Fabian Gordon, once again.
Well, we got to see something translate. Lance can't do it by himself. We've talked about this front for Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, and so far, I wouldn't say they're letting us down, but they're almost making us look like liars.
Yeah, because that was one of the things that Coach Bush talked about, the defensive front and offensive front being one of the strengths and one of his concerns coming into this one. So they're going to keep it on the ground once again. Morris looked like he might have been attempting to pass, has him to reverse his field, still keeping the feet turning, but he's going to go down.
But these guys,
Falcons in there for the stop once again.
Like you said, Flanagan's got some great athletes on the football field today. So, we got some young guys coming out of Douglas.
And that's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 20. So 21-0 the count, coming up on the 6-minute mark here in this one. We've got a 3rd down and forever coming up for the Eagles. Goodman has some time, but floats that one in there short. Got late pressure from the Falcons, and that one's incomplete. So they're going to be in a 4th down considering situation.
And let's just give a little shout out to the Flanagan Falcons, not only their coaching staff, but their staff in general. We thank them for having us down here today. Coach Guzzo, athletic director, Coach Bush, and the entire coaching staff. We thank you for having us, HSBN Sports. This is our second year coming down here. We featured a lot of Flanagan football games. We've had a chance to see them grow. And it means a lot to us. This year, we got a whole list of schools, and we'll get that schedule out to you. We got 19 games potentially on the list this year, and that's a result of being partners with a couple good Coral Springs schools. Coral Springs Charter, Coral Springs High School, and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas being one of them. So it makes sense to be down here.
Absolutely.
Once again, HSPN never picks sides. We're here to promote the athletes in any way possible, regardless if they're D1 or D3, and it doesn't matter. We're here to put a spotlight on them.
And looks like Douglas is going to get a little pooch punt action going on here. Give it back to Flanagan. Flanagan up 21-0, coming up on the 6-minute mark here in the second. A little pooch punt. And this one's going to die right around the 20. And that's going to be actually the worst field position for the Falcons in this ball game so far. They're up 21-0. Douglas trying to hold on. Had a few opportunities. They've mostly been on the ground. I think only put up 5 pass attempts so far, between 5 and 7 passes in this entire game. So they're trying to control the clock. And
as you can see, 21 points with 6 minutes, 2 seconds left in the first half of play. And Douglas trying to make some moves out up front and have been contending for some points only one time so far.
Yeah. Flanagan's control this one from the start. They did a little bubble screen and just flying up past the sticks. On the completion. That'll be a gain of about, call it 14 or so. And I think that was A.J. Barthwart on the reception. So 1st and 10 situation. The ball spotted up just across the 30. Slot receiver 2 wides to the near, and they're going to have flags on the play. It'll probably be encroachment. So that'll be a cheap 5 that Flanagan will pick up. As if Douglas could afford to give up any more yards. So it'll be a 1st and 5 situation.
I still think these guys can compete, regardless of what the score says. 21.
Oh, I agree.
In the first half,
the score could be a lot worse.
That's expected out of Flanagan, I believe. You know, they need to put some points.
Flanagan. They complete the pass. A good defensive stop. Nice. Coming in there. A good wrap up by Kevon Soto, excuse me. The stop.
I think Douglas, they start to get in a groove. You know, we saw in preseason, unfortunately, you know, they had 2 different games. Their secondary struggled a bit with putting 18 points on the board. And ultimately, it's the first game of the season. Now, give them the benefit of the doubt, first game. I think Coach May holds them at a different standard. So regardless of, you know, how the performance is tonight, whether they come out on top or bottom, I think there's going to be a lot expected out of them this year.
I agree. As we said earlier, coming in to this one, 7-3 campaign, have not made the playoffs though since 2001. Looking to change that, and a little misdirection once again. Read option. Samuels keeps it, and he got popped out of bounds on the near side, but it's going to be enough to move the sticks and keep Flanagan in business. 1st and 10 situation coming up. As we said, 21-0 is the count. Flanagan coming in ranked in the top 3 in Class 8A. That coming from one of the main sources, the Miami Herald, and a host of other publications. And they are, as advertised so far, up 21-0. Wides to the far near. One back set for Samuels under center now. Out of 7-step drop roll, gets the pressure, gets this one off balance, and keeps it, and still shaking and baking, busting over defenders. He may go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, touchdown, Flanagan.
And the Falcons, by way of some elusive maneuver.
I don't see any yellow on the field.
No hankies.
But there is a Stoneman Douglas athlete that hit the deck. I hope it's just cramps. Coach May goes out to see what's going on. He looks like he's struggling.
We do have
That's unfortunate.
An injured player. That is number 75 down.
And that's
Joe
Durante.
Durante.
That's one of our impact players tonight.
And Diedrich Snelson was the culprit. Making it happen that time, taking it to the house.
And that's Joe Durante on the ground, 75. Also one of our stealth athletes that is featured in the stealth top 20. We're hoping that he's all right. But we got 27 points on the board, soon to be 28 for the Flanagan Falcons. And it's been a decent one so far. I think there's a lot of improvement on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Flanagan's got, they're the ones in the position that have something to lose.
Absolutely.
Had
all the pressure coming on them. Them coming into
right. It becomes a situation where maybe last year you're the hunter and now you're the hunted.
Yes.
So Douglas can come out here and there's high expectations out of these guys, and they're going to walk Joe off the field now. And
looks like a possible leg knee injury by Durante. We definitely don't want to speculate too much, but he looked like he was putting some pressure on him as he's being walked off the field. So hopefully, as our impact player,
right,
just in general, he'll be okay getting some help from his teammates. But Douglas, nonetheless, in a big hole. Extra point ensuing, down 27 to the big goose egg on the clock here. One tick under 4 minutes left here in the second. Flanagan making it happen.
And we got to give a big Twitter shout out to Christina Frizz. That's at CT Frizz, which is FRIS, for tuning into the game tonight. Sorry you can't be here, but she is tuned in on HSBN Sports. Glad you can join us tonight.
Snap his back kick is up through and good. Trujillo. And officially we're at 28-0 in this one. Douglas has held on, as we've talked to and spoke about from an effort standpoint, Ryan, but you got to be able to control the tempo.
Well, you have to convert
and control.
You have to put points on the board. You have to score to win games. And I can guarantee you, with being out there on the field with these guys and getting to know the Douglas team better and better every week, they expect more out of these guys. Yeah. We can sit here and talk about how Flanagan's, number 3 and this and that. They got great athletes, which they do. We don't want to take away from any of the student athletes on the field, but you got to play ball. You got to put points on the board. We know defense wins championships. You got to stop them. You got to stop the offense. Pearson, Jacour is the man, I believe, so far. I would say he's the player of the game so far. Samuel's coming in at quarterback as an athlete, and they've been successful.
He's looked pretty good, I must say. Samuel's, of course, defensive back, getting his first action as a starter. A Flanagan team that's lost 2 quarterbacks. Of course, they lost a senior quarterback, and then slated to be the starter was K.O. Nelson. Torn meniscus.
He's going to put it out of the back of the end zone. It's a great kick.
Another touchback.
It's a great kick.
So on top of everything else, with Douglas, their average starting field position is probably around the 20. So they really haven't gotten a lot of breaks. And the breaks that they have gotten, of course, they haven't taken advantage of. We'll see if they can try and punch one in going into halftime. 3:59 on the clock. 28-0 is your score. Flanagan living up to the third-ranked billing so far in this one. In the kickoff classic here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout on the mic with you here on HSPN.
Yes, sir.
We thank you for listening or watching or both.
Or both.
Good action to kick off the 2015 campaign. Douglas gets it going on the running side and pick up about 5.
And the Eagles offense on the run. Positive
Daquan Bailey Brown on the carry.
And if you get tired of listening to us, you could always go to the website and check out Larry Bluestein live with Glenn Stout this past week talking about, and we're going to feature that in upcoming halftime. You need to go over to hsbnsports.com and check out that interview. It is priceless. Talking about Larry Bluestein, his experience and knowledge of the game, and just really understanding the ins and out of the recruiting process and understanding how he promotes 6,000 athletes on Bluestein recruiting.
Major insight that he gives us.
And we want to give a Twitter shout out to PJ Fitzgerald. Much love. Got him on here saying, love what HSPN Sports is doing for South Florida high school sports, bringing the Eagles game to my phone. And that's what we love. That brings so much joy to us. We thank you for that shout out.
Makes it worth it.
Yes, it does. And we're glad we can be out here for these student athletes.
Lance Moist on the carry. And that actually was enough to pick up the first down, so maybe the Eagles can get a little something going. Only I believe, their third first down of the contest so far unofficially. So 1st and 10 situation coming up. Traditional I set. They're going to keep it on the ground, and Flanagan not having it. No gain. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage on that play.
I'm telling you, watching these games, watching this Flanigan team, it gets me pumped up.
Yeah,
we've been out of the game for. I haven't been out as long as you.
I've been out a while. It's been a while, my friend.
Well, taking it back to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
That's big time football.
Yeah.
Now, a little old quarterback over here, Tabor College, Point University. Not saying much, but I'll tell you, this stuff gets me fired up.
But you've competed.
We've got the best job in the world.
I agree.
I'll tell you that.
See these future studs.
I love it.
Can
you believe? And I'm getting this from Bluestein. 250 guys coming out Division I.
Wow.
But even better, 2,500 to 3,000 going to D2 all the way down to D3.
That's a lot.
Not South Florida. I should say Florida in general. You got to listen to the interview. Guys, you got to listen to the interview.
Well,
he breaks it down.
We know that Florida is like a major hub for,
Florida, Texas.
Tremendous football players. So we got a flag on the play. I want to say this is another unsportsmanlike against Flanagan, and they are marking it off. So the discipline is definitely going to have to come into play for Coach Bush and his squad. A little out of control. And I'm sure he's got to talk to them about that at the half. That keeps another Eagles drive alive, and they are at midfield with 1:45 on the clock. Still have enough time to punch one in before the half.
Yep, coming in close to halftime. We're going to break some stuff down for you once again. If you get tired of listening to us, you could always go to the website. And any of our streaming partners, you can go on their websites. They got plenty of content. And you can always, best thing about the internet, you could open up a different page.
So 1st and 10 situation right around midfield. And on the carry that time, number 10, Daquan Bailey Brown. We're going to give him about 2. So 2nd and 8 situation coming up. Clock becoming an issue as we are sitting at about 1:20 remaining. Clock moving. So Douglas has got to hurry it up.
Goodman only a sophomore. I love it.
So he's got a lot of room to grow. Yeah.
And once again, if you didn't hear me earlier talk about it, this young man is just on a different level. Is dealing actually with a blood clot in his leg. Has to deal with that every day.
Got to fight off the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't know if he was going to play this year from my understanding.
So I set, they're going to keep it on the ground once again to Brown. And he might have gotten yard or so, and another flag.
All right, it's getting out of hand.
Yes, this is definitely getting out of hand.
You know, I
We'll
doubt
see if who this was going to go against. I believe this will be the 5th or 6th unsportsmanlike. Yes. Another 15-yard penalty against Flanigan.
I doubt that hands will be thrown or we'll see any type of squabble. But, I mean, you know, we're still trying to represent class out here.
Of course. Sportsmanship.
There's a lot, you know, when you have the spotlight at number 3.
Yeah.
You know, regardless, I don't care where you are. When you got the spotlight on you, you got to represent yourself with class.
I agree.
Good sportsmanship, integrity.
Now the clock is running after the mark-off. Unfortunately, Douglas has not used clock management to their advantage. Now they take a timeout, which might be only their second. I believe they've got one more going into the half, but 29 seconds remaining, and the Eagles call timeout, trying to get on the board, down 28-0 to the Falcons. Coming out of the timeout, it'll be 1st and 10 at the Falcon 30-yard line. But I don't think, and I have to think real hard, Ryan, I don't think I remember seeing a school get penalized this many times in one half. We're talking about, I believe, 6 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
We got to do our math. So who's got a calculator?
Yeah.
Who's got a calculator? Yeah, that's, I mean, like we said, there comes a certain point where it's enough.
Yeah.
We get it.
Absolutely.
You got to, you know, put a muzzle on
You can impose your will without the extracurriculars involved.
Right.
I mean, it's just simple. So officially, it's ball spotted at the 29 with 29 seconds remaining. Can Stoneman Douglas punch one in before the half, down 28-0. Goldman gives this one a little dump off, little shuttle pass, and Flanagan not hearing it. On the carry, number 33 that time.
And the clock is going to stop at 15-4. Another timeout May's going to call. And they're going to go to the side and discuss possibly points on the board.
Yeah.
And it's crucial.
Absolutely.
I don't care what you say. 17 or 15 seconds left and you're down by 28 points, you have to put some points on the board because this is going to translate what happens during halftime.
Of course.
It's going to translate what happens after when they come into the second half of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only so much you can do as a coaching staff.
Yes.
I mean, you can't just yell at them.
I know. I agree.
So
you got to establish some kind of momentum, get some kind of confidence going into the break. And if your coach Bush, not another unsportsmanlike, or you don't play the next game, he's got to crack down and nip this in the bud. It's gotten ridiculous along those lines. So coming out of the timeout, we've got a 2nd and long situation, and Goodman's going to try and put it up and will not get anywhere.
Gosh.
So another wasted opportunity by the Eagles. They're going to go into the half down 28, as that will be the final play of the half.
And we're going to give a big shout out to Steph, and that is on Twitter at YoungSteph_11 for loving the game right now. Big shout out. Says when you can't go to your school's game, but you can't, so you go on HSPN Sports to watch my Falcons play. I'm loving it, and I'm loving it too. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, at any point in the broadcast, you can shoot us a tweet. We are at HSPN Sports. You hit us up. We'll give you a shout out whenever you want. We love the support because it only encourages us more, and it just fulfills, brings us joy.
Oh yeah, we need that love. We need to know
love.
folks are watching and listening.
We want some
Good
love.
feedback.
And once again, this is HSBNSports.com coming to you live from Pembroke Pines, Florida. You're watching Flanagan Falcons take on the Eagles of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. This is high school game day. A lot coming to you. We got the band coming out now. One of the biggest bands, I would say, in South Florida. They put on a great show. We're going to leave the cameras running. And if you want to take a break, wherever you're coming from, if it's bleacher, if it's Florida Gridiron Preps, Florida high school football never had it so good. Wherever you're coming from, go get it something to eat, a little snack, a drink. We got plenty of content. These guys are more than just scores. So I know you're seeing that Twitter link. It's moving out of this world, and they got plenty of content. Also, when you get a chance, hsbnsports.com, go to the homepage. Larry Bluestein, the master, the expert, coming in and talking about these two great teams and the matchup tonight. Got great insight on the recruiting world, what he does on a regular basis, and we just want to give all the support we can to gentlemen like Larry Bluestein and what he's doing for these athletes. This is Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins. We're going to get a quick drink, and when we come back to you, we're going to give you some more action. Live from Pembroke Pines, this is hsbnsports.com.
Presenting the 2015 Presidential Football Winners, we call on the Flanagan Falcons Town.
And that's going to be it for the band, the Falcons, out there doing some work. And once again, we got another Twitter shout out from Lex. That is at Alex, ALEXX_0107. Thanks for tuning in tonight. She says, let's go Dirty Birds. Got the score, got the screenshot. We love it. Thank you so much for the support, for watching the game tonight. Got about 10 minutes left into this halftime. Wanted to take an opportunity to promote some stuff, talk about what we do outside of the live broadcasts. Recently partnered with a couple of schools in Coral Springs. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas happens to be one of them. And once again, want to give a shout out to the Eagles tonight. Got our impact players, Corey Gaynor on the offensive line, Joe Durante also on the offensive line. Center had a I don't want to call it an injury yet, but had to get escorted off the field due to some ankle issues. Hopefully he's doing okay. Lance Moyes, running back number 24, and our scholar athlete for the game is Josh Paulson, number 16, outside linebacker. The impact players for Flanagan tonight are Devin Gill. Sorry, we don't have their mug shots up on the broadcast. Devin Gill, number 9, is safety. Devin Bush, number 11, at linebacker. Javari Bourdois, I'm sorry if I'm destroying that name, also a defensive back. Let's see, Javari is number 28. And want to say, can't think of the last person on the field, our impact player. Oh, can't forget this name, Stanford Samuels, starting quarterback tonight. At number 2, had a great start coming in to the series. Put some points on the board right now, 28 points. Offense is doing pretty well. And bunch of penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct. A lot of intensity on the field tonight. But as you can see, want to give a chance to promote some of the stuff that's going on this season. It's only game 1, but we got a lot coming your way. 19 games potentially we are trying to get on the live broadcast scene. Got a lot of games in Coral Springs this season, but headhunting to get some great matchups down in the Miami-Dade County area. Saw Flanagan Douglas first up on deck, doing a lot of things with Stoneman Douglas. Have been with Flanigan for about 2 years now. Before they were considered the Dirty Birds, and had some great outcomes. HSPNSports.com has partnered with StealthRating.com this year, and as you can see on the screen, we got some stealth-rated athletes. Now, Stealth Rating is a rating system that is objective, outside of what you're used to seeing. So you're going to see some ratings, some 3-star athletes, and you're going to say, well, who wants a 3-star athlete? Well, that's a good reason to want them, because this system is based on objective data collected by character, academics, work performance, and game readiness. Don't ask how they do it, because I can't tell you off the top of my head, because I'm still trying to figure it out. But as you can see, Devin Gill, Joe Durante, and Devin Bush are the top 3 for tonight's game. If you go on StealthRating.com, that is www.stealthrating.com, you can click on the Stealth Top 20. Now, we just kicked it off not too long ago, so I would say about 400, 500 athletes in total on this system that are rated. This system is coach verified, so the head coach is in charge. They implement all of the data, including those 4 categories: character, academics, work performance, and game readiness. As you can see right now, we're working with these programs, Flanagan and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. These numbers are unverified, and what does that mean, you ask? Well, once again, the head coach has to confirm all of the data. So I had a chance to work with these guys this week doing my pre-production run, hanging out with the players, getting to know them a little bit better, getting ready for Friday night, and got some information. These aren't their verified scores, but these are projected. And as you can see, we got Devin Gill at a 3.61. We got Joe Durante at a 3.16, and we got Devin Bush at a 3.14. Well, what does that mean? This system is heavily weighted on character and academics. So these student athletes they're rated. You can go on stealthrating.com and you can see their full profiles. You'll see their stats. You'll see the bars that go by and show where their character stands. It's not going to give you too much information, but it's going to give you enough to understand if this athlete, the student athlete, is college ready. These athletes aren't rated only based on their athletic ability. Some of these guys you'll see, Devin Bush, Devin Gill, are top athletes in the nation, which is awesome. And guess what? They're top athletes in the classroom as well. Students of the game on and off the field, and that's the most important thing. Wanted to put something out there. We teamed up with them because they're on the same heartbeat. They fall under that Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation, that hub. It's the evaluation portion of what we do, and it really provides us all the content we need for these upcoming games. So, coaches, if you want to get on the schedule this year, we got 19. If we can find, we might find some open spots because guys will drop out during this football season. But if you have any questions, you want to get involved with HSPN beyond the live broadcast, like I said, we partner with these schools. I personally, Ryan Stout, go in and work with these student athletes firsthand, seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen. We do media training, not because it's media training, but it's teaching the philosophy that if a student athlete can talk, articulate, enunciate themselves in front of a live camera, they're able to talk to a college coach. And that's our hope, is that they're able to have an opportunity to talk to a college coach and take their talents to the next level, which is the collegiate level. So we want to give a big shout out to Stealth Rating for their partnership this year and all they do. You can find all the information you need about at stealthrating.com. That is www.stealthrating.com. And you can also follow them on Twitter at stealthranking. Big shout out to playingtherecruitinggame.com. It's that college readiness. So we got the evaluation, and we're going to turn the tables over to readiness. We're talking about 14 to 18-year-old student athletes, just part of the game. They're potentially going to be college athletes one day, and at some point in their career, we're hoping that they can sign on the dotted line and take their talents and have someone pay for their education. They can have someone pay for their education so they can play at the next level. Well, what does that mean? How do you do that? Well, there's a lot to it, and we got to teach them how to play the game. What is 14? I ask this all the time. What does a high school student know about a $30,000, potentially a $30,000 contract a year? I was clueless when it came to it. Chris, you were clueless when it came down to it. You don't really understand the ins and outs, and the parents don't really understand it. And the high school coaches, believe it or not, these guys, think about it, they got a lot on their plate.
Well, and they only take a vested interest in certain athletes. Let's be honest. Only the ones.
And all of this possible.
Yeah. You can't understate that. Yeah,
making all this possible for the student athletes first and foremost. Being able to put on a spotlight for the potential, the D1 and the underrated guys too. Like we said earlier, we were talking about the interview that we had with Larry Bluestein, and don't quote me, you got to go back and look and listen to the interview, but we're talking about 2,500 to 3,000 student athletes that are coming out of Florida that are going to lower division schools, which there's nothing wrong with it, because guess what? They're paying for a great education.
Of course.
So Keeping Dreams Alive, doing all it can do here in Broward and Broward and Dade County with the college and career awareness and readiness, and we're glad to be a part of it as we sit on the board, not only KDA, but we're able to come out here and run a great show with HSPNsports.com. We want to give another shout out to Analogics, the masters behind the web development. They got web development, web design, internet marketing, and programming, and they've provided a tremendous amount of value to HSPN and basically all of our brands that fall under that hub. You can find them at www.analogics.com, and I think that's enough talking for me for halftime. Once again, you are tuned in to HSPNsports.com. The score 28 The Dirty Birds up on top over the Eagles. It's a high-flying game tonight. And we're here in Pembroke Pines, and it hasn't cooled down one bit. And the sun has come down,
sticky,
but it
muggy.
hasn't cooled down yet. But you can't ask for anything better than that. It's South Florida football. We're glad to be back here with you. And if you have any questions, any comments, you want to get any shout-outs, you can hit us up on the Twitter. You can contact us or any of our streaming partners, Florida High School Football, Florida Gridiron Preps, Bleacher.com, and our newest member to the game, Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, Princess Cooper, doing it big. We can't wait to see you on Wednesday night and getting ready for a Thursday night show. Back-to-back, living it up. So we're excited. We thank you for joining us tonight. And if we have any technical difficulties, we apologize. If it's your first time tuning in with us, we're doing it live, and we're in high school stadiums, and we don't want to come up with excuses because we love doing what we do, and there are no excuses. But sometimes we just gotta face it. And we're dealing with 1,000 different phones and internet speeds and stuff like that. So we apologize anytime we fall off the air or if anything's buffering. We promise we're going to do our best to get it to you and get to you the best to our abilities.
Well, not a lot of props need to go to you for being behind the scenes with about 30 different duties it's impressive to me, and folks just don't realize the amount of effort that goes into being able to put these games on. So there's bound to be an issue here or there when you're going live. That's just what it is. Roll with the punches.
It takes a team, and I'm glad you're a part of it, and I'm glad, shout out to the whole KDA team, HSBN Sports, and shout out to the schools. We're committed as much as they can be committed. We've taken a leap of faith this year and partnered up with some schools. A lot of Coral Springs stuff. We're based out of Coral Springs, but the reality is they're committed to us. Yes. And they understand the philosophies, they understand the vision behind HSBN, and outside of just the live broadcasting. Live broadcasting is fun. It provides a great outlet, not only for our fans, but the student athletes as well, because we tell them, don't waste an opportunity. After the game, I know you're tired, I know you're doing a lot of stuff, but get on the internet, get on Twitter. I know you follow us, HSBN Sports. Get on there and start sharing the stuff, because it's only going to help you. And it doesn't just have to be HSBN. We got streaming partners up to you-know-what that are here to support you. Those guys, you can find them on Twitter. You can find them all over the place. The support system in 2015 is completely different than it was when I was coming out just in 2010. And completely different from years and years beyond.
It continues the ante continues to be up. We got second half action coming up.
So what did Coach May, how did he break it down? How did he break it down in halftime speech?
I have to believe he had to tell his team one series, one possession at a time. It's going to take a lot to overcome a 28-0 hole, but they're going to have to take it one play at a time.
I like it.
They're going to have to take some risk and probably put the ball up in the air a little bit, but the Goodman's got to have some time.
He does.
Douglas will get possession to start this one off, and it'll be another touchback. They're going to start off 1st and 10 at their own 20, so no breaks from that standpoint. You got to start and go 80 yards, but
I agree. He needs time. He's a young quarterback. He's still developing. And as we've seen so far, and if you're watching, you can obviously rewind it, the DVR on YouTube. But what we've seen so far is, they're not stopping. They haven't given up. Ultimately, and that's the most important thing, and that's the positives that I've seen out of Douglas so far, is they're not going to give up.
Well, the strengths of this team have kept them in this game where those strengths are, and we talked about it along the defensive line and the offensive line. And they're going to start things off on the ground once again, and they're going to get minimal yardage. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage a swarm of Falcons coming in there on the stop.
And if you just tuned in with us, that's kind of what it's looked like all night, believe it or not. Defense on the Flanagan side is just, when you talk about dirty, I mean, the Dirty Birds is the perfect name for them because those guys are just physical. I'm talking about manhandling. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's Douglas. I don't care if it's, boy, it doesn't matter. Whatever school it is, these guys are physical. They're fast. They're strong.
But we've got to see some more discipline out of them. The unsportsmanlike penalties are a killer.
I agree.
It's ridiculous. You got to conduct yourself better. And I'm sure Coach Bush spoke to that at half. Douglas coming out second run. Back-to-back runs and they get nowhere. Might have got back to the line of scrimmage once again. So it's going to bring up a third down and long situation. And if you're Douglas, talking about taking it one play at a time, but they also don't want to get into a big enough hole where there's a running clock.
Right.
You want to try and stay competitive.
Well, you have to convert. You have to put points on the board. And if you're not putting points on the board, you're putting a lot of pressure on your defense to have to, take a heck of a lot of weight. You're putting all the weight on the shoulders saying, hey, you got to stop Stanford Sanders. You got to stop Ja'Cour Pearson. And that's tough.
Yeah, of course. So a third down and 10 situation. Goodman's got a little time. Steps up.
Looks like a little miscommunication.
His receiver zigged when he should have zagged or something. I don't know. But Darren Ville-Saint was wide open on that play.
Yeah. A lot of that's not something, you can't afford to have something like that happen.
No. Another missed opportunity, Ryan. They're going to give it back to a team that is looking to blow them out at this point.
Unfortunately, that's where it's looking.
And they're going to be in great field position. Returners standing at the 50, so it's going to take a boomer by the Eagles, and we're going to have a stoppage and play flags on the play, and a false start against Stoneman Douglas, and it's going to back them up 5 more yards.
Against the kicking team.
Yeah, when you're playing against a high-powered team like Flanigan, you can't afford to have penalties, stupid penalties, miscommunication, misassignments, because this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
This is what's going to happen. They're going to go in tomorrow and watch film, and they're going to break it down and say it's probably only going to be one player at a time. They're going to look at the film and they're going to say, okay, you missed your assignment. You missed your assignment. But it's like the domino effect.
Of course.
As soon as one misses their assignment, it messes up the whole thing in the play. So that's what's going to happen. And it happens on both sides of the ball. Because Flanagan's going to go back and they're going to see the same type of stuff. They're going to see mistakes. They're going to see missed opportunities, regardless if they're up or not. I think this game has gone into a point where it's a thing of pride now.
Flanagan, absolutely.
Flanagan has to uphold the discipline, and Douglas has got to maintain, which they have. They've had great discipline, I think, so far, but they can't let any more points get on the board.
And I've been watching as you've been talking, Ryan, and I think we got another unsportsmanlike penalty against Flanagan, and Coach Bush went nuts on that. So not only is Douglas going to keep possession, but they're going to get a fresh set of downs right into or right at the 50-yard line. Wow. So once again, Douglas able to keep another drive alive when they should have been giving the ball up. So they've been given their opportunity to try and convert, Ryan. It's just a matter of you got to do something with the ball when you get these opportunities. So they're going to get a fresh set of downs at the 50 as a result of an unsportsmanlike conduct. I believe unofficially the 7th one against Flanagan tonight. And just as I said that, I'm all messed up because Flanagan has the ball.
Well, they punted it. Douglas punted the ball.
Okay. I believe they would have had better field position. I'll get my facts straight. The net on that punt was about 20 yards. So they actually would have been inside of Douglas territory had the unsportsmanlike penalty not been marked off. So we'll get it straight for you eventually, folks. So they got unsportsmanlike penalty marked off, put them back at the 50. Now they got a second down situation, and it looks like they're going to get close as he's keeping his legs churning on the little short reception, making something happen with it. And I want to say that was number 8. A little difficult to see the numbers in that that fluorescent green they got going.
Yeah, it's even worse when they wear the actual fluorescent green jerseys. We got some on the sideline, and it is, I mean, they look cool.
Yeah.
I'll give you that, but it is
a little
not
difficult for us. I want to say that was Rocco Marucci on the reception, and we got a third and short situation coming up. So Flanagan on the move. They keep it on the ground. And good defense by Stoneman Douglas. They snuff it out. That's going to force a 4th down situation. So
that's good.
Eagles defense holding.
Defense.
But if you don't get a whole lot of help from your offense, you can't do too much. And that goes back to what you were saying a minute ago. Defense can't continue to be put in the kind of positions they've been put in. Offense has to convert and do something. We'll see if this Eagles defense can hold. So big play coming up here for the Falcons. Can they keep the drive alive? Can Douglas hold? Look for the screen pass momentarily. Now Samuel's just going to scramble to the far side, keeping his feet alive, and got close to the sticks, backed up, and he's going to be tackled right around maybe a yard short or right at the sticks. We're going to see. We're probably going to call for a measurement.
Holding that ball like a loaf of bread. Holding that ball like a loaf of bread. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what you're ranked, rated, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hold the ball.
I agree.
High and tight. You're not getting paid yet. You ain't Michael Vick.
So we got a 4th down and inches situation. Samuel keeps it, plows ahead. He's going to probably have enough. Yeah. That'll move the sticks. Fresh set of downs coming up. So 7:30 on the clock, 3rd quarter play. 28-0 is your score. Here on HSPN, Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout, bringing you the action from Pembroke Pines is the Flanagan Falcons taking on
the Dirty Birds.
The Dirty Birds.
Dirty Birds taking on the Eagles.
Taking on the Eagles.
They've adopted that name.
Yeah.
They've adopted it. They might. Hey, you might see the Dirty Birds on the field one of these days. It might be on their jerseys.
So approaching the 7-minute mark, fresh set of downs for Samuels and the Falcons offense inside of Douglas territory. Go with the little bubble screen pass. And still keeping his feet alive, reversing his field. He might have a little real estate, folks. Shaking, baking. Knocks off a defender. Ball pops out momentarily.
Wow.
And it's going to look like the Falcons recover.
Wow.
So all of that scrambling, and he might have gotten back close to the line of scrimmage, believe it or not.
If you were watching this, you need to rewind that.
Unbelievable.
Not only is he reversing field, but he got jacked up.
Yeah.
Throws down the stiff arm and gets jacked up, fumbles the ball. It's DVR, folks, so YouTube, you can rewind it. But we can't rewind it, so let us know how it looks.
They're going to penalize him nonetheless. A 10-yard penalty. I'm going to say it was a hold.
Has to be.
Against the Falcons. So that's going to back them up. And it'll be a 1st and 20 situation coming up. With 6:30 on the clock. 3rd quarter play. The third-ranked Flanagan Falcons coming out, living up to the billing so far. 28 points on the board. He's still on the move. Samuels in the shotgun. 2 wides to the far near. He can keep it on the ground, go with a little draw action. And weaving through the defender, still on his feet, plowing ahead. And he's going to be close to another first down. Nice patience that time by Anthony Johnson. Running back spot. And it's going to bring up a second down and about 3 coming up. So gain of about 18 on the carry. They go with the run once again. Like they'll be ready to run some clock here in this second half. And he got 3 on the play. That'll be enough to move the sticks. First down coming up. Check that. Actually only gave him 2, so it's going to be a 3rd and 1 situation. We got a timeout.
Oh, they got so excited the referee called water break. Ladies, are you ready?
Little stoppage in play here. 5:16 on the clock. 28-0 the count. Coming to you live from Pembroke Lakes. Excuse me, Pembroke Pines. HSB in action here to kick off the 2015 campaign, the kickoff classic here.
Yes. Football's
Flanagan
back.
High School.
Football is back. Greatest job in the world. Just being a student athlete. Getting to play the sport you love. Hopefully you see these guys move to the next level of sports. That's what we're hoping, and that's what we're trying to do. And the people that are involved in the broadcast, the ones we keep promoting through the broadcast, are the people that care. And you're seeing it firsthand. So there's no excuse, student athletes, when you tuned in, because it's being recorded right now, to tune in afterwards and find out who's got your back. Because I'll tell you one thing, these guys got your back.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, if Flanagan scores, we're going to have
a running clock. 35. Is that what they do these days?
And that's what we spoke about earlier in this quarter. If you're the Eagles, you want to avoid that. You want to try and make it competitive. So the fourth quarter may fly by pretty quick, folks, if Flanagan can punch one in again. 5:16 to be exact on the clock, and they have they're going to give them a first down situation, I guess. So that was enough to get them a fresh set of downs. Samuel's keeping the ball alive, and he's going to go over the right side. Touchdown, Flanagan.
So my question to you, Chris, is what happens when the actual quarterback comes into the game? Cato.
Good question.
Chris Jenkins lost for words. Lost for words.
I'm not sure where to go with that.
Hey, look, Stanford, I mean, it's obvious. It's no secret. He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
You know, you just make plays. At the end of the day, you just got to play football. You know, and everybody does their assignment, one play at a time. What movie? I don't know. It's all the football movies. They all talk about it. One play at a time. Everybody's doing their assignment. And you get the job done. Now, if you know, we connect with Douglas this week, and you know, which we will, and say, hey, coach, you know, let's talk about the week. Let's talk about the opening game, you know, all that good stuff. And he says, well, my guys gave it their all. Then, you know, we wash our hands and we say, okay, we worry about the next game. But we're still in the heat of the action. And the Falcons are up 35 points against Douglas. And I don't know about you, but, you know, I still want to see a fight.
Up 35-0.
Sorry, folks. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Once again, we apologize if there's any buffering, if the broadcast goes out. Got 10 arms right now, and We're making it work. But we hope that you're enjoying it. And we can't wait. We're looking forward to this season. Got 19 games potentially.
We'll be everywhere. And a lot of saturation in the great city of Coral Springs.
Yes,
so
sir.
you folks need to give your support on those lines.
And if you're local, come out to the game. Spend your $7 on parking and a ticket. Probably more. I don't know. It's 2015. Don't break the bank, schools. But hey, come out and support these guys. It's always nice coming out to a great audience. We love you guys watching the game. But come out.
Douglas going to put it up in the air and actually got a completion that time.
There we go.
Met with major issue. Pulling that one in. Matthew KB.
It looked good.
Yeah.
It came out nice.
Nice.
He was
crisp,
on time.
Tight.
And it was caught. Now we just need to consistently do it.
And they're gonna give him actually about 8 on the play. So the second and short situation coming up. As I said, running clock. So coming up on the 2-minute mark here in this one. I formation. 2 tight end set. And it's going to be either a encroachment or false start. We'll see what it is coming up. Flags on the play. And false start. This one we're back. Stoneman Douglas up 5. And bring up a second down and about 2nd and 7 or so coming up.
I just want to give a big shout out to the guy behind the scenes right now, Mr. Glenn Stout.
Yes, sir.
I know you guys are used to hearing his voice.
Hello, Glenn.
But he got benched. I'm just kidding. He got benched. He's behind the scenes, being a madman on the social media. So you get the shout outs, you're getting score updates. It is not us. We are receiving all that information. Our job is easy. So big shout out to the boss man.
Yes, sir. Mr. Stout.
There we go, Moyes.
Little momentum there.
Is that Lance?
Got tripped up.
No, that's not Lance.
That was Daquan Bailey Brown. If he's not tripped up, he's going to the house. The momentum he had on
he's
that
got
play.
speed. I had a chance to talk to some of the coaches, and they say that's their speed guy.
Almost out the gates.
I would like to see him break out the gates. I'm looking forward to him breaking out the gates, but we got to get out the gates first. We got to open up the gate.
So under a minute now, coming up on 30 seconds remaining here, third quarter play. Running clock, as I said. Flanagan up 35-0 as we start the 2015 campaign here in Pembroke Pines. Flanagan Falcons ranked 3rd. And Moises on the carry, host. Falcons on the stop. That will be enough to move the sticks as we come up on the waning seconds here in the 3rd.
You could hear that stop. I heard it.
Popping.
I heard it.
A lot of popping.
I heard it. I felt it. I loved it. High school sports at its best. You know, people don't understand, number one, about broadcasting live. Number two, they don't understand how close we are to the action. I mean,
if
you've been to a high school football game,
you can hear the yelling.
Yeah,
you hear the hits.
But it's a completely different story when you're doing a live broadcast in a high school booth and you got a host, announcer, just blaring us out.
Yep.
And you got
competing.
And you got students coming up to the window asking if they can charge their phone. Hey, can I plug in? Can I plug in where you're plugged in?
You got the coach's box, and the coach is going ballistic.
And once again, that disclaimer will come up. We do not control what is said outside of what we say. We control under HSBN and our KDA disclaimer. We do not control what is said within the box, and if anybody is offended by any of the things that they hear going on in the background, we do apologize.
And nor do we have anything invested in either team necessarily. We're just bringing you the scoop.
We're just bringing you the action.
Yeah.
And we're not in a truck. We're right up in the action with them. We're in the trenches with them, so we enjoy it. We enjoy it, and we hope you all enjoy it.
So fourth quarter action underway for the Eagles, just outside of Falcon territory and trying to keep it alive. Bailey Brown popped out of bounds just short of the 50. We're going to give him about 4 on the carry, so about a second and about 6 coming up.
And here's a score update. You've probably already all seen it, but Florida high school football just got a St. Thomas Aquinas 14, Miami Booker T. Washington 0.
I want to say that game is nationally televised.
I believe
as well,
it is
on ESPN.
Oh, you almost got it.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. Almost got him confused.
I guess we got a little competition tonight.
Bailey Brown breaking free. And scatting forward. Gains about 16 on the carry. That'll move the sticks.
Booker T. Washington going through another coach's change. Coach Tim Ice Harris goes to the University of Miami a couple years ago, and now his son that took over the job, I believe, is at FIU. Keeping it within the family. Can't tell you off the top of my head the head coach's name, but someone on the staff taking on. And hey, St. Thomas doing some big things this year with Roger Harriet taking the reins as head coaching.
So coming up on the 10-minute mark, I set for Goodman, wide to the far near, go with the right up the gut, and that'll be a gain of about 6 or 7. We'll call it 7. So a second and short coming up. Running clock, as I've said a few times, under 10 now left in this one. 35-0 to count. Flanagan Falcons living up to that number 3 billing in Class 8A.
I missed the third to fourth quarter transition.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it happened.
It gets the flowing once that clock gets to moving.
I didn't even realize it happened. And I should have realized because I'm looking at the Twitter feed right now and it slowed down substantially. So
yeah,
I think it's coming close to that time.
Goodman trying to put it up. Pressure. Still holding on. And finally twist it down.
Hold on that ball, Petey.
Number 31 and a host of other Falcons in. We'll give it to Michael Williams. Getting first contact on the sack that time. So a 3rd and long situation coming up. Under 9 now remaining in regulation. Can the Eagles put one on the board before this one ends?
I'm hoping they do.
Goodman in the shotgun. 3 wides to the far. Looked, pumped. Now he's going to tuck it and run. He's going to get close, still keeping it alive and dives forward. And that's going to bring up a 4th and short. He won't get there.
Looks like we got someone else in the game at quarterback. Kevin Matthews, number 15. I believe he's the transfer that came in
Yes.
for the Eagles. And he's going to get a little playing action. I don't know if it was because Goodman took a big blow on that last one or they're trying him out, but he is
Well, either way, in a
junior.
situation like this, you might as well get him some playing time.
Absolutely.
Especially if he's got something to bring to the table.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. I got a whole list of positives that I can pull from this game on both sides of the ball.
Rodriguez
And he's
is
going
going to
downtown.
throw it up.
Oh,
Incomplete that time. So a little outside. Went with the go route that time. And that'll give it back to the Falcons.
it was that moment when you thought you were going to make the SC top 10 Sports Center.
Yeah.
This could be me. This could be my time.
And that one was intended, I believe, for Stephen Shine, the sophomore tight end. Coming up on the 7-minute mark, 35-0 to count, running clock from about 3rd quarter on. about the 5-minute mark in the third quarter. We had a running clock, and it's trucking right along. This one will be over here pretty quick. Flanagan gonna put it up. They're going deep, going long, incomplete. That was a jump ball situation that time. Good defense by Stoneman Douglas. Good route by the receiver.
New quarterback coming in the game, dishing
And just
it out.
airing it out.
I love it. And the officials are going to take a timeout. And we got a new quarterback in the game for Flanagan and Douglas on the field right now. You got me on the clock. It's got me working.
So clock stopped. 6:25 is the count. And as you just spoke to, new QBs on both sides.
We'll be airing tonight's event, HSPNsports.com. It's almost like ESPN, but we're at HSPN.
I love hearing the announcers. And a big shout out to the Flanigan program up here, the announcers calling us out. Hopefully we get a big flux. People come into the broadcast right now here from the Flanagan Stadium, giving us a shout out on hsbnsports.com. Much love.
So clock still running. We got
Big time hit. I heard it.
6 minutes left.
All right, 6 minutes left in the game. We can feel the intensity. It's still happening, regardless of what the score is. Before we run out of time, I think we should do a quick breakdown, positives and negatives.
Okay.
Both sides of the ball. I'm gonna let you kick it off.
Well, positives, obviously, for Flanagan, they were able to hold suit and hold serve, however you want to look at it. Do what they needed to do. Get off to a good start. They're getting multiple players playing time. That was just a gimme right there.
Yep.
In and out of the hands of number 12, Tyler Goetz. But able to play multiple players in front of a home crowd. Several hundred on hand. They kick off the 2015 campaign. And if you talk to Coach Bush, he told me point blank, we want to go undefeated. We want to get over the hump and finish what we started last year. Obviously decimated at the wide receiver spot, lost a 4-year starter quarterback. So they are having to put the pieces together and kind of work their way up the chain, so to speak, in a competitive class 8A. But you look at Stoneman Douglas on the other side, and they're going to have a winning season. They've got the right tools in place to be able to make it happen. They just came out and ran into a bulldozer of a team that was better than them. This team, Flanagan, they're ranked number 3 for a reason in the state.
Right.
So
I agree. I'm glad you said that, and I agree completely. I believe they'll have a winning season as well. Playoff contenders. They didn't last year, but I think that's a goal ultimately for this year. You know, what can you take away from this game? Well, you can take away a lot. There's a lot of positives. There's a lot of negatives. You gotta make plays. You gotta put points on the board for Douglas. One athlete or one play you take off is a reflection of how the play is going to work out. Flanagan, they got to work on their discipline.
Absolutely.
Their intensity cannot be an excuse for guys getting 7 penalties.
Yeah, that's ridiculous
for unsportsmanlike. So that's one of the biggest things they'll have to work on this year. I think they'll be contenders. They'll come out, I think, on top because they just got that mentality, and Bush is doing some great things. But Douglas, I think they're going to have a great season. I think overall they're going to have a winning season, and they're going to do a lot of big things. And I think they'll get a lot of what they did tonight.
Now, don't get me wrong. They don't have an easy schedule of sorts. They got to take on the Pipers,
right?
And
Although we'll get to see him during the Pig Bowl.
Yeah.
Coral Springs High.
Exactly.
We'll get to see him against Deerfield.
Okay.
We got a couple. I want to say they also got Monarch on that list, but yeah, they got some big guys. We got a coach up here. Big shout out to the coaching staff, Flanagan Falcons, the Dirty Birds. Always giving us excitement in the booth. But yeah, I think overall, great game, and we got 2:43 left on the clock. And we just want to also give shout out to our streaming partners, ultimately really putting this thing on and making it what it is, because our audience tonight is just rocking it. Between the Twitter shout outs and everyone that's a part of it, Bleacher.com, not only the graphics.
Really, the only guess is if
and he catches it, yes.
Eagles can get in the end zone, and they finally do.
I love it. Great touch. Great touch on the ball.
Absolutely.
My question is right now is, did we just see a new starting quarterback?
Good question.
That's my question.
That was Polycarp coming up with that one, I believe.
Oh, got a funky camera there.
Rodriguez to Polycarp for the first score for the Eagles.
So we'll present that question to the audience. Do you think that means a new starting position for that quarterback? I don't know. We're not going to call it.
Well, Rodriguez definitely has more size. He definitely shows some nice touch on that one. As we wait on the extra point. Snap is back, kick is up. Ooh, and good.
And Douglas puts 7 points on the board, and that's going to be 35-7. We don't want to forget our other streaming partners, Florida High School Football, which is FloridaHSFootball.com. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everyone coming through them, thank you so much. Florida Gridiron Preps. You can check all of their stuff out at FloridaGridironPreps.com. Thanks for joining us tonight. And last but never least, Miss Princess Cooper with Never Had It So Good Sports Radio.com. Tune in. She's got something going on every week. She's got the radio show. She's got the people that are just blowing it up. I had a chance to get featured, which is awesome. Any chance I get to talk, I'm all about it. But besides that, we thank her for joining the team, the KDA team. We got a show coming up Thursday. Next Thursday, I think it's September 3rd. We're kicking off a new recruiting show, high school recruiting. We want to get athletes on the show. We want them to ask questions. We want to put it in their hands. So that's going to be a big feature. Stay tuned, because we'll keep you updated with all the information that you need. But that's our streaming partners tonight. We thank them for joining us, and we are excited for a brand new season. So we don't know what's going to happen. We could have 7 more, or lose a couple. Who knows? But bottom line is, it's going to be a great season.
And we're just about to put this one in the books. There's less than 10 seconds remaining on this one. And the final is going to be 35-7 here from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Chris Jenkins and Ryan Stout bring you the action. And Flanagan
triple zeros.
1-0. And Douglas, of course, moving to 0-1.
That's triple zeros on the clock. We thank you for joining us. We thank you for being here. We thank all the fans that came out. We thank the Flanagan football staff. We thank their administration. We thank the school for all they're doing for the student athletes and having us out here tonight. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to take up a section of the booth. Regardless of how sweaty we get and how nasty and the bugs in our face, we love doing it because it's just a passion for us. Once again, thank you for joining us. Chris, any last words to the audience?
Nope. Just looking forward to another great season of action. Kickoff Classic in the books.
Yes, sir.
Now we move on to next week.
Yes, sir. And this is Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins bringing you live action all night long. Great game against Flanagan and Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, regardless of what the score is. We got a big season coming your way. You can follow it all season long at HSPN Sports on Twitter and HSPNSports.com. We got fresh content coming to you on a weekly basis. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week. Stay tuned to find out who the next matchup is. We're excited to bring it to you. This is High School Game Day, brought to you by HSPNSports.com here in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Flanagan, the Dirty Birds, against the Eagles. Everybody have a good night. Thank you.